I have a different plan altogether. Like I'm definitely going to sell some Bitcoin, already have sold some Bitcoin. I think people probably hang on too long because they want to get out right at the peak. And I think that's as silly as trying to get in right at the bottom. Like you never know when that's going to be. You're better off just selling on the way up. You know what I feel like is happening this cycle is, you know, in last cycles, if you wanted to go risk off, correction was coming or whatever, everyone went back into stables. But this cycle, it's not that. People go back into stables, but they also go back into Bitcoin.
Annii, welcome to the Maybach.
Thank you, it's so fancy.
I know it's not mine, Da Vinci. Thank you for letting me borrow your car again. Last time we spoke, you and me, Bitcoin was trading at $68,000 and it was July 28, 2024.
A lot has happened. We've doubled almost.
We doubled. And if you guys remember, if you have not seen the video, I will link in the description. Of course, you must go and follow Annii if you're not, because she has one of my favorite channels. Love your trading show.
Oh, thank you.
Beautiful. It's going to be a bull run. Don't it up, if you remember, right? And we were
yes,
saying, hey,
right.
Are we messing it up?
Yes, that's coming back to me now.
Exactly. How do you feel about September? Because you made a wonderful video about it. Do you still see a green? I know today is an important day because Jerome is about to speak. It's going to be, I think, 10 o'clock for us when he speaks.
Yes, it's going to be late one, but it's worth staying up for.
Do you see a lot of volatility in the market?
I think there'll be volatility. Look, it's kind of a hard one because every FOMC that we've had to date that people have expected something big, nothing has happened.
Yeah, true.
Right? So, yeah, I'm in two minds about it. If we come in at expectation, then maybe nothing will happen.
That's true, and it looks like the market has priced in 0.25. So if they do 0.5, we're gonna rally, but maybe then correct after. I don't know. September is not a good month, actually.
It's not a good month.
Right?
Yeah, historically, it's not a good month. But yeah, that video that you're talking about, it was saying that usually, like there was a large percentage, I think it was about 80% of the time, the month's high or low was put in the first 12 days. And so because this time August was bearish, we were looking to see if the low of September got put in already. However, it's possible the high got put in already, you know, so we have to wait and see, really.
I do have a weekly update with Plan C and Sina. We go through, you know, the quantile model. And Sina was saying, well, look at the data. Looking at the data, it feels like the month of August and September are switching up. I don't know, but maybe, like you said, maybe Jerome is not going to cut anything and we just dump.
Yeah, look, I think regardless of what happens, even if we correct, it's temporary, so who cares?
Exactly, it's just a bump in the road.
Yeah.
Right? Do you still see October to be positive, regardless of what happens in September?
Yeah, even if we still correct into October, look, I'm still bullish on the rest of the year, pretty much. A lot of people are calling for extended cycle. I think that's dangerous.
I don't know if you agree with me here, but I have the feeling that whoever is calling for an extended cycle is because they invested in altcoins, right? So they're waiting for altcoin season.
They need an extended cycle.
Which, by the way, I would argue that altcoin season has happened. Like BNB, new all-time high, like this morning. I think it's gone over $1,000.
Really?
So there are some coins, XRP has gone bananas.
Yeah.
Some coins have
coins have done very well.
It's just Ethereum. They just literally touched the 5K almost, and then
XRP only just made a new all-time high and then miserable all-time highs at this point in time.
I'm with you. I think there's another leg up, maybe on Bitcoin, and usually historically there's a fountain of profits. So whoever has made profit on Bitcoin is going to rotate them into alts and so forth. So maybe if Bitcoin topped in November, we could see maybe an extension in 2026 for some alts, or maybe we break the cycles. I mean, many people I know we say this every time. This time is different. This time is different. But I wonder how you feel about this, because I know you are a wonderful trader. So if everyone is expecting the top to happen in, let's say, 2025, many are going to take profit. Let's say we have another move to 150. Many are going to take profit.
Yeah.
So would it make sense for the market to pump again? So then people FOMO and then to drop?
Yeah, absolutely, it's possible. Yeah. Look, my feeling is that wasting your time trying to decide if there's going to be an extended cycle is not an intelligent strategy, because it's a guess at best, right? And trying to hang out long enough in hopes that that happens is also, well, probably every cycle is how people give all their gains back, right? Because they don't really believe it's over when the signs are there that it's over. So I feel like this cycle, because people are on two sides, where some are like, no, the cycle will end when it's due, and then others are saying extended cycle. Either way, whichever one you believe, you'd be a fool to not take profit in the last quarter of 2025. Whether it's some profit or everything, like that's a decision that each person has to make. But if you think about it, if everybody doesn't want to risk there not being an extended cycle, they will be starting to take profit literally from now, really, until through to the end of the year. Partially all the time is not a bad idea. So at some point, if everyone's taking profit, there has to be, even if there does turn out to be an extended cycle, there's going to have to be a pullback. Who's buying, you know?
Such a wonderful advice, by the way. And I think most of the people that are watching the video, if you do use Bitcoin, none of this is financial advice, by the way, but that's what I would do. If Bitcoin was my saving account, you don't have to sell, you don't have to take profit, just keep it for rainy days, for another couple of cycles, whatever. But if you are like me, I'm all in, everything I have is Bitcoin, I have to be a bit strategic. And I already sold some to pay rent. That's my diversification, right? I basically paid 2 years in advance.
So I'm really glad you said that, because a lot of people have this idea that, you know, buy Bitcoin and hold it forever, but because it will change your life. But how does it change your life unless you use it on something, right? So the whole buy and hold forever, that's not the right thing for everyone. Like if you actually want crypto to change your life, you have to use it.
I actually made a video, I ranted and I said why it's a good thing to sell Bitcoin. And it's all subjective, like you said. Some people want to improve their life or stay with their family or husband or wife or kids, whatever it might be, which is how I use it. That's how I use my Bitcoin, to free time. But it would be crazy to have broken underwear, live into a cave and have millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin.
Exactly.
That's my opinion, right?
100%.
At the same time, I think it would be crazy to spend it all into luxury items. So I think there's a healthy middle.
Yes.
And I think your wealth should reflect your lifestyle, right?
Absolutely.
And it's funny, I've spoken to a bunch of people in Dubai and they have a substantial amount of Bitcoin, but they just go to work. They are developers, programmers, because they don't want to touch the stuff.
Is it improving your life then? Maybe they have a really long-term plan and that's fine, but like you said, it depends on your personal situation. If you're someone who is getting into crypto because you need to make money, which I think is the wrong reason to get into crypto, but a lot of people do that, especially when they decide to learn to trade. Like, I need to make money. Well, if that's the case, then there's something else going on there, you know? So you're not really in a position where you can just hold it for the next 10 years. Like you need to make income another way. This isn't it yet. You know, this is, sure, you can stack for the future, that's fine, but there has to be something else that allows you to live now.
I always give the analogy of the plane. Whenever a plane has to take off, there's a lot of energy into the moment. You know, taking off phase, but at some point, autopilot and chill, right? Travel, trade, and chill. That's it. You know who's never selling Bitcoin? Who doesn't have enough. Because I guarantee you that if you had 10,000 Bitcoin under your name, you would have sold some already, or you
That's true. That's like when they track wallets, like really old Bitcoin wallets, and people start to sell out of those old wallets. Like, well, hello, they may have had Bitcoin since it was $5. Of course they're going to sell some.
Who in their right mind wouldn't sell?
Exactly.
Like, okay, so, and again, I think it's a spectrum and it's really difficult to have one rule for everybody. But I think at some point, depending on where you live and your lifestyle and all that kind of stuff, but at some point, whenever your investment is going to give you what is, quote, enough, I think you must take action.
Yeah, you have to.
Otherwise, what we are stacking for?
Yeah. I remember last cycle, I was talking to a friend of mine who's been in Bitcoin for a really long time, and we were laughing because her microwave broke. And she had no money to buy a new microwave because everything was in Bitcoin. And we were like, how silly is this? Like we're living without something we need because all of our money is in crypto, and it's only like, what, $100 for a new microwave? It's not like it's an expensive item, but it can get overbought. And it's because we were conditioned into this idea that you stack Bitcoin forever and you never sell your Bitcoin. And yeah, this cycle, I have a different plan altogether. Like, I'm definitely going to sell some Bitcoin, already have sold some Bitcoin, but prior to this cycle, I never have. But I also think, well, that's how I got here, right? So I don't think it's a one cycle plan. I think if you want to stack Bitcoin, it probably should be a multi-cycle plan, or really anything that you believe in, but you know, Bitcoin's the most trustworthy, I guess.
I bought my first Bitcoin in 2013 and I sold my first Bitcoin a few months ago.
Yeah, see, so it's multi-cycle plan.
Whenever you buy stuff with fiat, you're going to acquire Bitcoin.
That's
So
it.
you can't escape the fact that you are using
Correct.
your money in the moment to
Yeah.
purchase something.
Absolutely.
So for that person who's watching us from home and he or she is thinking, oh, now they bought a video camera or a trip or they pay rent with Bitcoin and in 10 years they'll regret it. I say to you guys, whenever you buy that with fiat, you could have bought Bitcoin instead. So you cannot escape the fact that this thing is going up.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a plan also
Yeah.
because I live in the Bitcoin standard. So how can I not sell? And we don't know, but I'm expecting based on previous data
Yeah.
that at some point we will correct.
Yeah.
How much? I don't know, 40%, 60%, I
Yeah.
don't know. So I have to have a DCA out also, right? Because otherwise next year when I pay rent, maybe I have to pay rent when we touch the lowest. So that wouldn't be strategic.
No, exactly.
So it requires some, I guess, management. So I think you, like you said so well, in the beginning you want to focus and stack as much as you can, but at some point you want to reconsider, right?
Yeah. I mean, how does everybody else, like who's living an amazing lifestyle through crypto right now, how are they doing it? They had to cash out at some point. Otherwise, like, how is it actually changing your life if it's just sitting there in a cold wallet?
Is the ability for someone to free themselves, because this thing is limited. So karmatically speaking, you're doing something nice to someone, say, hey, I've freed myself, now it's your chance.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing, right? Because you are saying, with the amount of money that I stacked for 2 or 3, 4 cycles,
Yeah.
now it's up to you to pick it up if you wish
Yeah.
and free yourself in 2, 3, 8, 9, 12
Yeah.
years.
And I also think every cycle you get better at it. So like, you know, last couple of cycles, I never really felt confident that I would know where the bottom was in to buy back in. So I didn't want to take that chance. But then the last cycle, when we went back to 15K, I feel like I knew that was coming. And every like, you know, peak formation low since then, I've picked it to the like within $1,000 range. So I feel like my skill has gotten so much better that if I were to sell some Bitcoin in this cycle, I would basically know where to buy back in. So therefore I'm compounding anyway without sitting through a, like you said, 50, 60, 70% drawdown.
You become a little bit more numb to the corrections. Like I've seen my portfolio going down 90%.
Yeah.
I don't think we will see that ever again.
No.
But that was terrifying. And this is where you have to, you know, follow Annii, follow the right people because they give you conviction. Otherwise, you will sell by fear or by greed. They always play the market.
Yeah.
Right?
But also, you don't even really have to be that accurate. Like if you this cycle started buying at 30 grand, you're fine today. You know.
Exactly.
And that's what, 15 grand off the bottom.
There is a difference between saying, why am I selling my Bitcoin? Like asking an honest question and say, why am I selling an asset to buy a liability, which could be a car, could be a watch or whatever. I mean, some watches, I guess, they retain value, but whatever, the average. Versus, these could now improve my life or give me a chance to free myself from the 9-to-5 job or to stay with my wife, husband, whatever, kids. So I think those are important questions to keep asking ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's okay to have like we were saying, it's okay to, I believe, to say, okay, super focus for the next 12 years or whatever it might be. But then when my goal is reached, then
that's it. Because we all get into crypto for a reason, right? To change our life in one way or another. So if you get to the point that your crypto can change your life and you don't, then
what are you doing?
what's the point? Like, what's the
Exactly.
point?
I still believe Bitcoin is the best asset. So I store my wealth in it, but I'm taking profit because I want to live a different lifestyle. Imagine me going back to work 9 to 5 and having my Bitcoin. Why? So I don't see the value. At some point you want to, unless you want to pass it on your kids, so that's your mission, which, hey, everyone does whatever they want. But
I think people probably hang on too long because they want to get out right at the peak, and I think that's as silly as trying to get in right at the bottom. Like you never know when that's going to be. You're better off just selling on the way up.
I wouldn't wait 150 because that's probably a number everyone is looking for, right?
That's why everybody asks for targets, right? I think that's so dangerous. Like you're marrying yourself to a number That never works out. Because last cycle, what was the number? It was 100K minimum, right?
Barely got to 70. So.
No.
And again, now everyone is calling numbers. I see a lot of comments sometimes. People, no, this is what's going to happen. We're going to go to 200 and then back to 50. I'm like, who knows?
Who knows? And also have a line in the sand of where, where are you going to take out the rest if you're not willing to hold through a bear market? Like last a couple of weeks ago when we were bearish August, a lot of people started calling for 95K. Did you see that?
Yeah.
And I said on my channel that if Bitcoin looks like it's going to head towards 100K, I'm selling, because I'm not going to let it break below 100K. And for all we know, that triggers the bear market, and now I'm stuck. So to me, if I was buying at 15 to 20K and my line in the sand is 100K, it's still a 4 to 5x. I'm still happy with that. And it doesn't mean that I'm now banned from getting back in should it just be a correction, we go back up. I can always buy back in with those profits or whatever, but I'm not going to sit there and risk it and convince myself that, oh, now we're in the 90s, but it's just a pullback. That's too much to give back.
And also we live in a place because we wanted to come here, right?
Yeah.
Which is an advantage for us. We should take advantage of the fact that there's no capital gain taxes. And people say, oh, you guys are so lucky. Well, nobody came in our homes with a ticket. Like
that's right.
We built it ourselves.
I had to make a big decision, and I left family. I left my child in another country to come here. It's a big sacrifice. It's certainly not luck.
I like the definition of luck, which is when preparation meets opportunity.
Yeah.
That's how luck is created, right?
Yeah.
But I understand some people, and this is why we said earlier, everything is such a subjective point. There is no manual on how to do it. It depends on you. But I think having some sort of a plan always helps.
Yeah.
And then you can keep some flexibility. I personally like to be free to do whatever I love, like this I'm doing with you.
Yeah.
Amazing. As opposed to having more Bitcoin in the bank.
Yes.
Or sorry, not in the bank, under my name, whatever, and it's just going to work 9 to 5 because I don't want to touch it. Again, it's good to have it for a certain amount of months or years, but at some point you want to.
Absolutely. And for most people, the reason that they get into crypto is for freedom, right? So you got to live that freedom.
My way to diversify is to pay rent 2 or 3 years in advance. Because in Dubai you can, if you speak with your landlord, you say, hey, I want to give you 2 years, you can get a better price.
Yeah.
So whenever Bitcoin was, I think it was 118 or 119, I just paid 2 years of rent. I sold a portion of my Bitcoin. So now I'm like, okay, halas, 80% of my expenses is rent anyway.
Yeah. You wouldn't buy?
Probably not now in Dubai.
No, not now.
I think now it's a little bit inflated. And also, if I have to be completely honest, I moved a lot in 30 years.
Yeah, you have.
And if I have to choose in between owning a property and having Bitcoin, I would choose Bitcoin.
Really?
I love it.
But why do you have to choose?
Well, because you have to sell Bitcoin, right?
No, but you could have both.
I guess you could borrow against it, right? Borrow against your Bitcoin stock.
Yeah, so the only cryptocurrency you have is Bitcoin?
Pretty much, yeah.
You don't have stable coins?
No. I don't like stable coin. I'd rather have USD, like dollars or dirham. I hate stable coin.
So for me, it's different. So I'm a futures trader. So all the profits are taken in USDT. I don't want that. I may as well go buy a property with
100%. Yeah. No. Because I don't trade. See, that's I hold, and that's it. I buy and hold. And the only thing I've done was taking some of those Bitcoin I purchased in time and just letting them go to be free, right? But now you can, for example, I had a bunch of guests on, they have systems like Ledin, for example, you can borrow 50% against your Bitcoin. So again, it's not as easy as, just lend against your Bitcoin. Yeah, it's great, but you want to make sure, because if something happens, then you are in trouble, right?
Yeah.
I used to have a gold position in London, but when I moved to Dubai, I couldn't come with my gold, hey guys, I'm going to Dubai, imagine. So I sold it and I bought Bitcoin, which ever since, I think gold has done almost 3x, but Bitcoin has gone bananas. So of course I'm happy I've done it. But I love the idea of having gold, physical gold, and in Dubai it's super safe, so you can even leave it in as a doorstop in your living room. So it's not a bad idea. But real estate, I've talked about it with my wife, and we would love to have a quote home, but renting is so convenient, and I can pick and go. I don't have any string attached. Of course you can rent it out, but then you have to think about tenants, and it might damage.
I'm not a fan of renting.
The headache. So whether Bitcoin doesn't give you any headache, doesn't give me any headache, but some people maybe prefer some other asset. Think about a way to store your keys, and there is another maybe set of headaches. Maybe I've got used to those headaches.
But when your headaches aren't people, it's easier.
Yeah, and also, I don't know, Dubai seems a beautiful place, but it feels a little bit inflated at the moment.
Yeah, it's definitely inflated now. There's definitely signs of, some developers are just, the marketing on certain things is like, don't know if you should be branding that as luxury, which is all signs of correction coming. So now's not good, but I think the last 2 years has been great.
It could be other places,
Yeah,
other
yeah.
locations. So.
Yeah. Bali's good, but property in Oman as well. There's lots of places. I'm exploring Egypt potentially. One thing I learned very young, but I never had the money to execute, was you're not, when it comes to property, you're not restricted by the borders that you live in. This is the problem, is most people will only want to buy where they live, because they're looking for a family home or something like that. But you're actually not restricted. The world is a big place. If you really do your research, there's many places that are being developed now that will become potentially a future Dubai or a future Bali or whatever. So many opportunities everywhere.
Yeah, it's a really good point. Many other Emirates, for example, just because maybe I'm so familiar with crypto, in this case Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's always scary, I think, and also because it's a much longer term game. But I think you get to a point where you're like, okay, everything I have is in crypto, and that's a risk too.
Yep.
So you sort of want to diversify for safety.
It's funny sometimes when you have people like, for example, Michael Saylor, which I love and respect.
Yeah.
Okay, does he own something else? Yes, he has yachts, he has homes, he has properties. So then
it's not so scary. Right, exactly.
It makes sense. And I think, like you said so well, it depends on how big is your pot. At some point, because Bitcoin I think is going to grow still from where we are now, you might want to think about it. And maybe the answer is not yet, right?
Yeah, exactly. I watch a lot of influencers on YouTube, a lot of different crypto influencers, and it's interesting to see their different perspectives on the way that they will invest in anything in life. And one thing I've realized is you really should follow the person who most resembles where you are in your life, because if you're following like a 20-year-old crypto child, then they can take much higher risk because they've got a lot more time in life to recover should something go wrong. Whereas, just say you're like 65 years old, you don't have as much time left in life. So you
100%.
should probably be looking to someone who's a bit older, a bit more mature, and is thinking a bit more conservatively as well, and is starting to think about what's the legacy I'm leaving for my children or whatever it is,
That's such a good point. I resonate with, I'm almost 50 and I certainly couldn't take risks. A, follow people that they have what you want.
Yes.
And B, that they have kind of the same mindset, because otherwise they will make you a roller coaster. You won't be able to handle it.
Yeah. So what will you do when the bear market comes if the US dollar is also still bearish?
October, I'm going to do a water check,
Yeah.
because I think we're going to be hot. And like you said so well in the beginning, even if I'm going to sell a portion of my portfolio at, let's call it 140, just for the sake of it, I exit a little bit and we go to 180, I don't feel bad.
Same. Who cares?
Thank you very much. It's just like...
Exactly.
But again, like you said, you have to go through stages, right? And at the same time, if I was 25 years old and if I had my Bitcoin into my saving account, if I had a fiat job, I wouldn't sell.
Yeah, exactly.
Yet. Right? So it's all a matter of perspective.
Yeah.
What's your play like? Are you going to exit by the end of the year, or you have a maybe depending on?
Well, I already started. So I have 3 phases of exit. So the first one's already happened.
Okay.
That was when it was done by month, but it just so happened that we created the all-time high in that month. So I was selling on the way up. Yeah, it was just didn't time it by price. I timed it by months. And then the next one is now. So between September, October, November. And then the last one, unless things look terribly, terribly bearish, the last one is Jan, Feb to next year. So everything that I plan to sell, basically already starting to scale out, but I will hold portions of everything that I currently have in my portfolio, because that's basically the gamble in case it continues. And it makes no difference to me if that goes to 0 or not. Like I said, I'm a trader, so bear market, bull market means nothing to me. I just have to get the direction right and I can make money. This is why I really appreciate the skill of trading, because I'm not tied to the fact that I get 1 year every 4 years to make money. You know, I don't need the price to go up to make money. I just need volatility and I can make money. So for me, there's no like expiry date. I'm fine. I just need that peak formation and open a short position. That's it.
You know what, I wish I could, and maybe I could. I know you have a course that you should watch. I did try in the early days and I got spanked so much.
I'm not even going to pretend that it's easy. Trading is not easy. It takes an immense amount of skill, and most of that skill is learning to become completely detached emotionally to money, which is very hard for humans to do, because we're always taught that we need money to do the things that we want to do in life, and so we always want more of it. So how do you just detach? It's very, very difficult. And yeah, so even though I teach it, I absolutely do not go into it with the expectation that it's, you know, you can just learn to support and resistance and you're gonna make money. There's so much more than that, but it's a skill worth having.
And you can trade anything. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure, anything.
Another thing you said, super interesting. I think you said it in July, last time we spoke, that people think they have to stay on the charts 24/7 and do 25 trades a day.
Yeah, no.
It doesn't work like this.
No,
right?
Twice a week is for me. I know when to turn up. I turn up Sunday and Monday, and then I turn up Thursday. And that's it.
Kashi, thank you very much.
And if nothing happens Thursday, I take profit on Friday, and then that's it. I'm richer on the weekend. It's great. It's payday.
I love it. What's your favorite asset to trade?
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin?
Yeah, because I think most people, when you get into crypto, you probably learn on Bitcoin first. So therefore you just become a master of it. So I find it, for me, it's very, very predictable because I've been trading it for so long. After that, it's XRP and ETH, because XRP is also very predictable. It will go sideways and do absolutely nothing for a very long time, and that's the hint, right? That's the hint. So it's pretty easy to buy in accumulation XRP, and then as long as you have patience, when it breaks out, you know? So I always tell my community, you don't have to like XRP, you don't have to care about it. We're just making money off the movement. And it's always worth being in an XRP trade.
It's funny because those pops, they look like the time between them. I don't know if it makes sense, but whenever...
This way and that way,
I don't know if you have the same feeling, but this cycle, it looked like it's been slightly different, right? For Ethereum specifically also. If you would have asked me 3 years ago, where would Ethereum would be now, I would have probably said 9K.
Yeah, Ethereum did take a long time, but some of them have been pretty easy to trade, but it's not the ones that people talk about. That's the problem. Like, it's been large caps and everyone's like, oh, it's too boring, but that's where the money has been.
Even Chainlink has done. I have a portion of Chainlink. I was buying at $2, at $1.50, at $1.80, at $4 even. But I haven't sold yet because I don't think we've seen the top.
No.
Because of course I'm not a trader, so I am an investor, and I don't want to buy, for example, XRP. I don't want to invest into those. I would trade them if I was a trader.
Yes.
But as an investor, I don't want to touch them.
Yeah.
But I understand that if you do want to leverage and make money on those trading, those are
they're the ones to do it.
The one you want to pick, right?
Yeah.
Do you still see like a moment for them to go higher, for example?
Yeah. Than where they are now? Yeah, I do.
But before we have to see Bitcoin, right? Then
I do think everything is probably going to rotate back into Bitcoin for a little while, and then once we get our confidence back that Bitcoin's, you know, created a new all-time high, or it's looking like it's going to, then we'll go back into alts.
Because the dominance is behaving so weirdly. Like we've seen a pop and then a drop.
You know what I feel like is happening this cycle is, you know, in last cycles, if you wanted to go risk off because you felt something was a correction was coming or whatever, everyone went back into stables. But this cycle, it's not that. People go back into stables, but they also go back into Bitcoin. And that's why the dominance is all over the place, which is a good sign, because it means people are now seeing Bitcoin as not such a high risk asset like they used to basket all together with altcoins as well. All crypto correction, let's go to USDT. Not doing that anymore. They're going to Bitcoin, which I think is great.
Do you think that might be because we have different kind of player involved?
Yeah.
Like retail, okay, maybe it will impact, but I mean, we have micro sailors, we have BlackRock.
And they're not afraid. They're like, yeah, Bitcoin's my hedge. It's great.
Annii, thank you so much, guys. As always, in the description, you will find Annie's channels and links. Make sure to go and follow her if you don't, because you will miss out. I love your channel, like I said.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure. And maybe next time we'll have another one. Bitcoin will be, I don't know where at this point, maybe 200,000.
Maybe 200, and we'll be like, damn, we sold at 140.
Exactly. But Thank you, Annii.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one.